Okay, it's the 12th of the 9th, 2015. This is the third lesson. These lessons have been 2 hours each. I get tired at the end of the lessons, so 2 hours is, it's working for me, as the instructor said. Having 2 hours, I'm able to take everything in, think everything through during the week, and I don't get tired, so it's working out well for me. Just like to say that what I do is, for the lesson, because it's a bit like living in New York, and you live, say, south in New York, and you have to go for the lessons in North New York. It takes a while to get there, and so while I'm there I have a look around. So what I've been doing is I've been getting down there, driving around, getting to know the area. Then I'll do my lesson for 2 hours. After my lesson I'll also drive around and have a look around, take different paths, different routes throughout that area of the city, just to become customised, more familiar with the area. Of course, if I'm driving a big truck around, I'll need to know all the turns. It's a bit tricky in the city too, because it's a hilly area, and the infrastructure is all different. There's no one particular way. Say, for instance, Texas is fairly flat, and the road system would be easy to navigate. It's the opposite here. It's very hilly, and you just don't know what to expect, or what they've had to build to make the entrance onto the freeway, or the entrance off it. Okay, so today, lane position. I have to get better with lane position if I'm turning left, which is the same as turning right in the USA or Canada. If I'm turning left, I have to block the left lane and turn from the right lane. Turn from the right lane, but also have my wheels just in the left lane so that cars can't sneak up on the inside of me. Today I was good with my gears. I did lots of changes, or a fair amount of changes, without being instructed. I didn't forget or go to the wrong gear. However, I was a little bit, I'm not as good with my gears when the instructor's telling me, to check my mirrors, pull out wider so that I can navigate the corner, and that type of thing. So in other words, when I'm multitasking, I get slightly bamboozled with my gears, but not as much as the previous lesson. Yeah, so I'm good with my gears. I split gears, and of course used the low and the top box, so I'm getting well used to that. Sometimes I find I have to rev to match the gears changing up, so and the instructor did tell me on one occasion to give it a rev as I was changing up when the gears didn't match. Okay, so staying on the road, so I'm driving along the road. Traffic's coming the other way. It's in an industrial area where you've got cars and trucks parked on the side of the road. I've got to maintain a straight line and let the cars go around me. I'm a safe driver, and I like to sort of move my car around, swerve around a little bit, and get out of the way of cars coming the other way. And to drive a truck, you have to drive straight and let the cars go around you. So that's one thing I suppose I'll have to get my mind around. One thing the instructor picked up on is that I'm driving a truck, and I seem as if I need to be busy, or I think I should be busy. I suppose that's right. So I'm driving a big truck, and I'm coming up to a corner, say a left or a right hand turn, and I feel like I should be doing something to set up for the corner up ahead. And say for instance, you'll say, just don't do anything, don't brake, don't accelerate. Your lane position is good. I feel like I have to be doing something in this big truck to be setting up for the corner, but that's not always the case. Driving a truck's different in respect that you've got a bigger vehicle and more weight, and you have to think further up the road than in a car, and you have to set up for the corner with sort of rubbing off some speed and lane position, that type of thing. But There does come a point where if you set up early enough, everything's coasting along alright, you don't have to be working hard, and I suppose that'll come to me in time. Just like to say at this point that I am a truck driver, medium-sized trucks. I have been a driver for 6 years, so that's the point I'm at the moment. Okay, so no braking around corners. You know, you don't want to jackknife, and you know, in a car you can scrub off a little bit of speed around corners, but in a truck, the instructor said that you know, to do your braking before the corner so you don't jackknife. There was a downhill exit, and he told me to scrub off some speed, and he showed me where people had jackknifed and gone wide around the corner, and that's why there was sort of a bit of a path around in the grass or on the dirt off the road. So that's another thing, just to watch jackknife situation braking down a hill. And yeah, so that was a bit of an observation. Yeah, so today was 12 hours. I left at 6 and I got back at 6. So 12 hours of driving around unfamiliar territory, the lesson, and driving home the long way along a road I haven't been along before. So yeah, it's a long day, and especially previous weekend was found it pretty hard, but not so hard this weekend. Either I'm getting used to it, or I'm a bit more familiar with the area down there where the lessons are. As I've said before, I could have easily been a truck driver in the city I grew up, or I worked for a while in Brisbane, and I got to know Brisbane pretty good in the 90s. But here, you know, I didn't grow up here, and it is a large city. I do want to get to know the roads better than I do now, before I take a truck out in, you know, as a truck driver. Just like to make the interesting observation that a lot of truck drivers on YouTube are making at the moment. That the fact that GPS isn't reliable. You can't rely on GPS. Maps don't work. I find the maps don't work because in the city anyway, at least with the UBD, the no right turns or the no left turns aren't marked on the maps, and that's very important, because you know, you look at a map, you see a T intersection, it looks like you can turn right or left. You get there and you have to turn left. Well, you turn left, if you want to go right, you've got to do a lot of work to bring yourself around the right way, and I'd say that is a safety issue, and you know, if you can't find a map system that's going to work in 2015, then I don't know when you ever will. Yes, I suppose out in the countryside, no doubt it's going to be a lot more reliable with maps, but in the city suburbs, you just don't know what's going to be a no left turn or no right turn. So yeah, I suppose it is built on the premise that you've done that road before. So okay, so moving on. 2-hour lessons are really working out well for me, and I recommend that instead of the you know, the gung-ho approach and just a whole day lesson. I don't think is such a good approach. 2 hours is a good amount of time to learn and then digest that during the week, and next time you come back you've got a fresh head, and you're able to absorb more. Okay, so these are two maps of the same area, except they're different map makers. Now this is an industrial area here. You actually can't turn right, so you can't go that way. What you would have to do is go all the way up here, go up there, down there, and then you'd have to circle around to go up that way. And the point I'm making is you can't tell. There's no arrow crossed that you can't turn right there. That's the same on the other map here. This is the same area. So you come down here, you can't turn right. You would have to go up here, up, around, down, to go this way, then come around here and go up north. I don't think it'd be on GPS, and I don't think that the computer phone would help you. So you know, it's no secret, anybody that drives for a living knows that maps, GPS, computer phone, you know, they can't always help you. Maybe a combination of all of them can make things a little easier sometimes. So what's the answer? I suppose better programming and better information with GPS. You know, I don't know if the military or police have maps and GPS system that is better and have all of these no right turns or no left turns, or what the problem is, but I think that by now that possibly, you know, a second stage of programming with GPS would be beneficial. If GPS worked 100%, you'd never be able to tell who was familiar with an area and who wasn't. So for security purposes, it could be the case that they don't make GPS work 100% efficiently.